Good evening, my dear brothers and sisters, my dear titos and titas from all over the world. My dear brothers and sisters, for the past 40 years, we have been blessed by the Lord. We have been blessed by God through our community in terms of production, in terms of uh, design, in terms of materials, and etc. etc. God has blessed our community through the spirit of creativity. And I think it's only apt to look back and see how the Lord has blessed us, how God has inspired our brothers and sisters, our missionaries, our creative thinkers in creating these different kinds of videos, different kinds of materials that continuously inspire and trigger, enlighten, spark the hearts of our dear brothers and sisters. Digitalizing Christ, the productions in Couples for Christ. I am David Kiambao. I am a missionary of Couples for Christ serving in the digital journey team as the digital training lead. I am also a member of CFC here in Metro Manila North. And I have been a product as well of uh, not just our online events, but all our events. I have been blessed by the Lord to experience CFC ever since I was a child, my mother's womb to now. And what you have just seen, my dear brothers and sisters, what you have just witnessed is just 1% or less of all the productions that Couples for Christ and its family ministries have done. Majority of the clips that you saw is from the Ministry of Youth for Christ. But I also inserted some video clips from CFC. That is because before I was also a full-time pastoral worker of CFC Youth for Christ. But you know, my dear brothers and sisters, multimedia productions is not limited to CFC YFC. It is present in all ministries. It is present in our whole community. It is actually one of the gifts of Couples for Christ. It is one of our charisms. This creative evangelization. This idea of sharing our identity through visual imagery, photos, videos, and multimedia. It is not limited to one ministry alone. It captures the whole of our community. And we have been blessed by the Lord. And so, tonight, let me start this Lumini course with an overview of how we are called by God to digitalize Christ, especially today in this setting. Not just during the pandemic, but in this postmodern society, how we are able to capture Christ and proclaim the good news, the beauty of the gospel to our community in digital missions. You see, my dear brothers and sisters, before we jump into anything else, we need to discuss what multimedia is. So, multimedia, my dear brothers and sisters, it's an adjective. It can be an, uh, an adjective or a noun. Multimedia is using more than one medium of expression or communication. For example, a multimedia art form. It is when you use a variety of artistic or communicative media. Multimedia is not limited to digital media. Whenever there is a mix of various media forms, photo, video, audio, or even physical collaterals, leaflets, posters, these things can also be considered as multimedia. From the word multi, which means many, and media, which means medium. So when we talk about multimedia, we are imagining multimedia as if it's the digital assets, it's the digital collaterals, it's the photos, it's the logos, it's the design, it's the videos, it's the way we conduct our conferences, it's the way we conduct our CLPs, our youth camps, it's the way that we apply our teachings, the way that we communicate the message of Christ to our community. The way of communicating can also be likened to multimedia. My dear brothers and sisters, Pope St. John Paul II actually reminds us that it is for us, we are to make creative use of the new discoveries and technologies for the betterment of humanity and the fulfillment of His plan, God's plan. The computer age, the information age is not our enemy, but rather we should see it as an opportunity, a new dawn, a new era that enables us to proclaim Christ to a wider audience. You see, there's this tendency of defeatism among Christians that says the modern world is so immoral. We are already less in our power. We are being overcome by the forces of darkness. That's a defeatist perspective. Technology is our enemy, blah, blah, blah. No, technology is a tool that we can use to proclaim Christ. A tool is neutral. It can be good, it can be bad, it depends on the user. And the computer age, the information age, as Pope St. John Paul II tells us, enables us to help other people to transcend their vocations, to transcend current beings, to their current selves, and bring glory to the Father in heaven, from whom all things come. This technology, this uh, digitalization, this information that we have right now is a good gift from the Father. Let that be a reminder. I want to ask everyone to look back when they first joined Couples for Christ, when they first joined the family ministries, YFC, KFC, SFC, servants, handmaids. If you were there in the beginning, I want to see a show of hands. Who has experienced attending the CLT or the youth camp with Manila paper for the songs, where the songs were written in the Manila paper or on the blackboard? There was no projector yet. It was too expensive. So you have the Manila paper or the old tarpaulins and you write the songs. Or the time that we don't have IDs, the beautiful IDs, we don't have kits. We only have the photocopied participants handout or the photocopied song sheet because we don't have a because we don't know where to buy the glory books, or during the time that there were no IDs yet, but you attend with the sticker paper here. Until now, some of the people are experiencing that. My dear brothers and sisters, before, Manila paper for songs were enough. The sticky paper written on your t-shirt, stick on to your t-shirt, was enough. Before, we didn't need acoustic, we didn't need uh, amplifiers, drums, and etc. etc. We just had acoustic guitars. If no acoustic guitars, we pela. Before, there was no social media. There was no social media pages, websites, chats. There was only texting. Before, there was no OGD. Before, Couples for Christ and its family ministries were trailblazing and were ahead of its time, because out of all the religious organizations in the Philippines and in some parts of the world, CFC was the only one doing creative evangelization. Some religious organizations were still into praying, singing songs that are not that lively, and etc. etc. Back then, CFC was unique. It was set apart in its creativity, and so it attracted a lot of people. Even non-Catholic groups were not that advanced yet during that time. But now, my dear brothers and sisters, what was sacred remains sacred. What do I mean by this? As Pope Benedict XVI said, the message of Couples for Christ has not changed, but our way of delivery has developed. Definitely. The message remains the same. CFC remains the same. The family ministries remains the same in what it wants to say. But the message, but the delivery of the message, that has changed. And as the world moves in a much faster pace, we are called not simply to adapt, but to live out our charism of trailblazing, breaking old records, and setting the standards. With Christ, we should not be afraid to take risks and live out the Christ for Christ. Creative evangelization. My dear brothers and sisters, I believe that despite of being in different ministries, we should have unity in message, though there is diversity in design. As a diverse community, we have multiple gifts and techniques. Though we are united with a single identity of Christ, we are also blessed with the opportunity to express our message in various ways, depending on the audience of our respective ministries. Let us not make the mistake of assuming that we are merely adapting to the culture of the world. That CFC is just copying what is in the world and Christifying the message. No. No. We are in the world but not of the world. What we do is we take inspiration. We utilize the present realities and try to excise the culture of Christ in the process to stay relevant and personal when speaking to our target audience. The handmaids of today has a different demographics from the handmaids of yesterday. The KFC of today has a different story than the KFC of yesterday. The same with the CFC of today. It has a different story from the CFC 40 years ago. Though the message remains the same, we need to learn how to deliver the message in such a way that they understand. In such a way that the current generation is able to embrace, to process. Actually, my dear brothers and sisters, we are already doing this. We are already doing this. What you're seeing is an old photo, my dear brothers and sisters, of some activities of youth camps for our YFC. See how they tried to excise the culture of Christ from present day realities. Frozen, let go and let God. One more chance with Him. Now you see me. They were not stuck with the idea that we just need to name it youth camp. It was all about trying to understand the message of the young because it came from the young. The same with Singles for Christ. The message of the singles because it came from the singles. The message of the handmaids because it came from the handmaids. It's all about understanding what unites us, but at the same time, what makes us history. That's why, my dear brothers and sisters, we need to be trailblazing. We need to find new ways of delivering our message. We should not settle. Focus for Christ has no room for people who settle on pwede na yan or that's enough. Because we, as a community, has always pursued excellence above. We have always pursued excellence because God deserves the best and only the best. So in the digital age of multimedia, we need to be fully in excising the essence of Christ, our reality, translating them excellently to deliver His message more effectively. So, my dear brothers and sisters, to be pastorally grounded, so let this be a reminder that in designing for our and our community, we pastorally grounded on the identity of what our community, our ministry are speaking. We design new things. It's a new thing, so it's something that it's attractive. No. Everything must go back grounding. First, its event is how experts the speaker are. It's about pastoral grounding. Always. Everything follows. The application that so that you could be creatively abounded, be pastoral. In message, my dear brothers and sisters, content over technique. Always. Content over technique. When you are trying to determine your priorities, we must make sure that the message takes top priority. It takes top priority. Technique and design is good, but it will be wasted if we will not utilize it. Your design is so beautiful, but the message is so unclear. So it's like presenting no message at all. It's like, wow, so beautiful. What is it trying to say? We are not here to make abstract art. We are not here to make symbolic art where people will say, it should be clear. The message should be clear over the technique, over the execution. Technique is important, but we should not use it as a scapegoat in delivering the content. When you do content, when you do design, when you create a beautiful design without a message, it's like creating it's like creating cake that has no cake but only icing. May wrong. It doesn't taste good. Umay in Tagalog. It's overwhelming. My dear brothers and sisters, sometimes even a bad video, if the content is wonderful, trumps highly stylized production. For example, if I were to shoot a cup of water with a drone shot, with a panning, with beautiful zoom, with a slow-mo shot, but it doesn't mean anything. It's just a cup of water. It doesn't make sense. But if I shot a cell phone video, low quality of a person helping another person beautifully, that matters most. That matters more rather than the beautifully shot cup. Technique in service of content. I want to share to you a video. It's a video that for a conference of YFC in 2016. That it was a video for YFC Christ Unlimited. The video tries to show how the ministry grew through the years. So I will not be focusing on the ministry. I will be sharing a specific idea that will come up from the video. So when you watch the video, try to imagine it not just for YFC, but try to imagine it in the context of your ministry, in the context of Couples for Christ, or SFC, or Handmaids, or Servants, or Kids for Christ. Try to imagine what you can remember and see how good the Lord has been in our community.
Shining in the midst of the darkness, shining. Jesus, light of the world, shine upon us. Set us free by the truth you now bring us. Shine on me, shine on me.
You came from heaven to earth to show the way. From the earth to the cross, my debt to pay. From the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. living out loud, forever we shout, together as one we'll go. Living out loud, forever we shout, together as one we'll go. Living out loud, forever we shout your name. Oh, band hearts, with a battle cry we move. To you we surrender. No need us for the Lord, for now is the time to show out your love. We're moving forward. You captured me today, Jesus. You completed all my days. Whoa. See that I am living for you, Lord. I will worship more. I will raise my hands and worship you. See that I am living for you, Lord. I will worship more. I will raise my hands and worship your name on high. I'll forever worship you. I'll serve you with all of my heart. 'Cause you are my God. I'll forever. I will lift your name on high. I'll forever worship you. I'll serve you with all of my heart. 'Cause you are my God. I'll forever be grateful.
Okay, my brothers and sisters, my camera is currently stuck. Okay, allow me to restart. Brothers and sisters, as we give me a few seconds lang po because my camera suddenly stopped working. But okay. Uh, as I said a while, content over technique. So, my dear brothers and sisters, as you can see, it all started with a spark. Sisters, what I shared, the video I shared was not, but all of the ministries. It just is the only video that I have. If you look, if you watch the video, it started with a single idea. What if we bring the teenage sons and daughters of CFC members and allow they have their own activities? It started with that idea, and the rest was history. I think I will allow the ministries to share what the ministry branding, what the identity of each ministry is. But I want you to see, my dear brothers and sisters, that all it takes is an idea blessed by the Spirit, an idea embedded by the Lord in our hearts, a single spark for all of this to happen. We are just 40 years old, my dear brothers and sisters. A lot of things are to come. Greater things are yet to come. Greater things are yet to be seen through Focus for Christ. And so as we move forward in digitalizing Christ and exploring multimedia productions in Focus for Christ, let us allow our hearts to be inspired, to be moved by God, to share the spirit of creativity that He has blessed us with. Our community and our ministries have been called by the Lord. You have been called by God to share this creative spark to a lot more people. Are you willing to take the challenge? That's it, my dear brothers and sisters. And for that, may God be praised. Maraming salamat. Good evening.